Great news, we back season 3 Motivational Mondays. Thank y'all so much for your support. Today I am joined with my first guest of season 3, my loctician, Miss Stephanie Johnston of Natural Essence.
Hey world.
Also at Twist and Talk. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, King. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. You've been watching the show a little bit, right?
Yes, I have.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So for the people and my viewers that don't know you, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of what you stand for as well?
Okay, well, as you said, I'm Stephanie Johnston. I am a natural hairstylist,
Yes.
but I'm actually a traveling hairstylist currently
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
So I was traveling within 3 cities. Pre-pandemic, it was London, Atlanta, and Tampa. But of course, since the pandemic,
Everything kind of slowed down a little
Yeah,
bit,
it did.
yeah.
I mean, it completely stopped for us, right? And I was actually insulted by that because we weren't considered essential workers.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so it actually stopped, not slowed down. They shut us down.
Wow.
And as far as London, I still can't get back to London now. They're on shutdown until September.
Oh my
so,
God.
yeah.
A little story how I met Stephanie. I actually went to Publix to get a sub, you know, that chicken finger sub. And then I was going to get my Synergy drink. And then she pulled me aside. She was like, "Oh, excuse me, King. Excuse me. Who does your hair?" And during this time, I was actually going through my own journey trying to find my own loctician. So I met her. She gave me the most amazing service and talked me through a lot of the stuff about my hair. And that was one of the things that was like, God, I really just appreciate somebody who actually can educate me on my locks as well as maintaining my maintenance.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's all about a connection for me.
Yep.
To be honest with you, you know, like I said, I made Atlanta my home residence now. And at the time when I met you, I had just got the suite. It wasn't put together.
Oh, wow.
Nothing.
Oh,
and I
shoot.
wasn't actually promoting it because I didn't want to, you know, until it was done. But it was just something. And it said, you know what? You need to let them know what you're doing.
Wow.
And sorry.
See, here it is.
Excuse me, King.
This queen right here already, I was thinking like, dang, I'm finna walk into a whole full studio for about 5 years. She ain't had no
So
place.
yeah. So I have a couple of clients here in Atlanta.
Okay.
Some that play for the Falcons because, like I said, I would come in and travel, but my heavy clientele was Florida and London. So now I'm building more in Atlanta, and then I was like, you know what? Let me just mention it to him.
Yeah.
And look at me now.
Look at
I'm on
that.
Motivational Mondays.
That's also, talk to us a little bit about that traveling. How is that, like, you make your own schedule and stuff like that too as well?
So yes, I make my own schedule. That's the number one question everybody asks me. So, and especially stylists and barbers, like, yo, how do you do it?
Yeah,
How
for
did you
real.
do
Like, you
this?
going to London.
Yeah. So I actually accidentally did that. You know, I just finished my divorce. And I was actually dating someone at the time in
wow.
London. And I used to go and visit, but you know me, I don't like to just sit still. So I was like, let me see if I could find something to do. So I went on Instagram and I messaged all the natural salons in London.
Oh, wow.
I think it was about 20 of them. I woke up the very next morning and had 20 DMs.
Good.
Yeah, so I got up and I said, let me just start calling. Called one by one, set it up. Well, pretty much I have it set up where they pay for the traveling, the flight.
Okay.
They pay for the housing. But because it's, you know, a whole new country, new clientele, it was commission based.
Yeah.
But pretty
So-
much I didn't have to.
I
They
was
flew
gonna say,
me
so
out
is
to
there
work.
like a natural hair like group niche of people there? Because I know it's black people that live out there. It's like,
Yeah,
hey, people
so
getting their
that
locks
was the
twisted and
thing.
everything.
So
Yeah.
I was a little nervous about the whole
Yeah.
UK natural scene because it's, you know, it's a lot of African based there too. So and obviously a lot of Africans
Yeah.
that do their hair. So I didn't think that it was really, you know, there. But what I realized too, a lot of them weren't really into like the big heavy styling like how we are big in the US.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think me bringing that was my niche
Okay,
in
wow.
London. So it wasn't just retwist. I was able to create different styles, different
Okay.
looks. Lock extensions were new there.
Wow.
So that was pretty big there for me. But yeah, so it was just something new. But it is big. The natural hair is everywhere.
That's what I was thinking, but you never really hear too much about like hairstylists that do like multicultural hair in
Exactly,
London.
exactly.
Or
So-
having like a Barter Brothers show out in London.
So I
you know?
actually was in 2 different locations. One was in East London, one was in West. The one in East was where more of the Afro, more of the
Okay.
black. West, you got more of the mixed hair textures because you had a lot of mixed cultures.
Was it more like perms and stuff in the West?
Well, yeah, more mixed white-black relationships,
okay.
you know, and so you have mixed children, mixed textures.
Definitely.
So you got more of that over there. But, you know, a lot of them needed to know how to be educated on it.
Yep.
So it's there. I think you just have to, I just had to present myself, which I did. And I guess me being from America, you know, UK, Londoners love my accent.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, they like to make fun of mine, but I actually love theirs. But so,
Okay.
yeah, that in itself.
See, y'all just be sitting there talking to each other, falling in love with the accent.
with their accent, right? But one of the main thing I did notice that I also traveled. Whenever I would do London, I would go for 10 days to Europe, work 7, 3 days travel out, just to explore, and going to Germany, going to France, I realized there's a lot of natural hair everywhere, so that's initially, I was like, okay, I really definitely want to, spread my brand a little bit more further.
Definitely. And you said you didn't know anybody out in London before.
No.
And you literally Google searched. You didn't even go on Indeed to find a studio. You Google search natural hairstylist in London.
At the time, I'm walking into the place with my friend, and everyone's like, "Hey, Steph."
Excuse me.
But like I said, naturally how I am, I'm all about connections. I'm all about talking and communicating with people. So, and it ties in with what I do,
So I kind of want to talk a little bit about before you became a traveling hairstylist. Like, what brought up on you actually doing hair to begin with? Did you go to school, or what was something of things that maybe fostered you wanted to do this full time?
Well, of course, it's in my culture,
Yes.
Caribbean culture. I'm of Haitian descent. Haiti, ça passe. So it's always been in our culture, natural hair, locks, braids, and etc. So I've always done it for my family and friends. But it was initially when I went to FAMU. I was in college.
The Rattlers.
I was broken and ever though, being a college student, right? And it's like you're trying to keep up with class. And I gotta figure things out, and coming in, to college, my parents are first generations coming in, so I had to pay for school myself. So it's like, I said, let me do what I do best. I walked up to someone like I did you, who does your locks? So fast for the story, I pretty much had the basement in my dorm.
Wow, what?
I was doing teachers, financial aid advisors,
going in.
students. And I initially started off as a psych major.
Okay.
But then I was like, okay, I'm wrong. I need to do business.
Yes.
And then I switched over to business. But I realize now, 2 and 2.
I was just about to say, you kind of walk your clients through therapy whenever you're doing that.
Sure do. I've learned that now, boy. We
Because they relinquishing their crown for you to take care of them.
We do.
And then it's like, you're really taking them through like their own soul work, just sitting there getting their hair done.
And I really, really definitely understood that during the pandemic. Like I said, I was a little insulted that we weren't essential workers. But, I was doing my essentials privately still. But when I finally got to do my open clientele, it was heavy.
Wow.
And when I say heavy, because everyone came and was like, like, I missed you. And besides it was work, I had a lot of work on some heads to fix those quarantine dudes. I love y'all. It was work. But what I mean, it was heavy because it was more the release. And that's when I realized, and even they realized, I'm more than a hairstylist.
Wow, yeah.
So,
I kind of want to hit on something you said earlier about you going to college actually to be a psych major, and then now you end up doing hair. Like, when I went to school, I went to Georgia Southern. My whole ambition was just to play football. And it just, with me in that mindset, I was kind of conditioned just to go work out, go try to study, and then just go home. And it was like, it took me to go through a transition of understanding there was more that was out there. And that, actually me talking to people and going out and meeting people, I realized like, wow, I actually got a knack to, connect and motivate individuals, as well as I can actually start my own business and market.
Exactly.
And it's just like that on its own is like something I feel like is so groundbreaking for people in general, because you really don't know what your purpose is.
You do.
You go through a lot of trials and tribulations to shape your mind state, but that definitely doesn't, foster your purpose until you take those risks. Until you go out there and talk to somebody that you don't know, until you just use your own, like what you enjoy doing and what makes you happy. And that's a beautiful thing.
I totally agree. But I also think even the other things like you playing football was a part of your purpose.
Yeah, it taught me a lot of discipline.
It taught you a lot with it, right? So me actually even doing the psychology, it actually helped. I'm actually enrolled in school now. I'm back in school. I want to go for my doctorates in psychology. Okay. So, like, going back to what I said, me starting it was a purpose. Maybe it wasn't meant to complete at that time. Probably wasn't too focused to do it. I had my son, and etc. So, but I still don't deny that it wasn't purpose. You know what I mean? So it just kind of shifted. The plan just shifted a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's important. The plan shifts.
Yeah, it does. And as an entrepreneur, you got to be ready for that, right?
Amen.
You have to be ready for that.
I was just about to ask you that. So, like, as being an entrepreneur and a traveling hairstylist, what are ways that you actually just want to wake up and go and do it? Like, how are you motivating yourself? Like, because I know it can be very stressful.
It can be very, very stressful, especially I'm picking myself up out of a divorce.
Oh, wow.
I'm a single mom. I'm also like I said, running my business, and then in the middle of a pandemic at that,
Yeah.
and then now adding school. So yes, it's a lot, and I get asked that, like, how do you do it? How do you do it? And first and foremost, through prayer. You know, God is always my salvation.
Amen.
Without Him, I don't think I can do anything.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, and then secondly, meditation.
Wow.
I'm a firm believer on getting centered within myself. You know, somebody mentioned to me one time, and it really stuck to me, that I think I mentioned to them that, oh my God, I'm frustrated, I'm tired, you know, and the response was, you just got to keep moving, get up, put one foot in front of the other. And I just ran with that. I just, like, I get up in the morning and say, go, and just start walking. But by the time the day's done, it's like, okay, all right, check.
I started like strategizing how to like catch negative thoughts before they even foster nowadays, and then try to reinforce them with just a bunch of positive thoughts.
I know how to help you with that, because you know what I came up with? A gratitude log.
Okay.
Every night at 10 p.m., my alarm on my phone goes off, and it says gratitude log. So I have to take my log, and I have to actually, you know, put what I'm grateful for the day.
Wow.
And when I do that, I do it at night, because I want to be able to keep that in thought, to wake up with that positive energy. I mean, I'm so serious about, like, if I'm at work, because there's times I'm at
you
work.
You don't write the same thing each night?
Oh, no. Well, I mean, I do. It could be, because when I do notice I've done that, that means, okay, I'm very grateful for this. I appreciate that. But even when I'm at work and it's 10 o'clock, I stop my client, what you grateful for? Everybody has to answer that gratitude log. And you can ask my clients.
You gonna finish my
Yes, it's a therapy session at Natural Essence, okay? We're twisting and talking.
There we go.
But yeah, but I think doing gratitude log will help with that.
Okay, I'm gonna take that. You also said meditation. There's so many different forms of meditation, and that's one of the things that I thank God for my mother teaching me. Prayer is a part of it, as well as just meditation is also more of an action that you do.
It is. So, you know, being in a religious family, Catholic, you know, they would, meditation and yoga, you know, it's prayer. Yes, I get that, and you're right, it's a form of meditation. But I do think having a sense of quietness and stillness is needed. You know, in prayer, you're still in thought.
Yes.
You're still, well, as far as I can talk for me, I'm still in thought. I'm still professing. I'm talking. You know what I mean? It's not that space of silence that my entrepreneurship mind needs. You know, I'm constantly on the go.
Yes.
Go. And I'm sure every entrepreneur can tell they have sleep issues. They can't sleep.
They got scheduling issues.
Everything.
People don't be
we
consistent.
are not really organized.
Oh my God.
You know? So yes, you know, but I need that stillness, you know. So whether if it's, I started off at first doing 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night. And I'm not no guru at it. This is something that I just started to implement within the year, you know, myself. But I would do, now I'm at 15 minutes.
Wow.
And that does a whole lot, especially at night. Well, I do 5 minutes in the morning, because when I do my 15 minutes meditation, it relaxes me so much, it puts me to sleep. So I definitely do 15 minutes at night before I go to bed.
And it's just completely just still and silent.
And it's going to be a work in progress, because you're training your brain to just take a break.
Definitely.
You
And
know.
2020 was probably the first time that I was really disciplined towards meditating.
We all got forced to.
Facts. One of my testimonies about that, though, is I was actually able to identify the distractions that I was making.
Yeah.
And it was like, I didn't even know that, because I was so much caught up in the rhythm of my life, just from waking up to, I got to walk my dog, I got to eat something, I got to go work out. And it's like, I noticed that a lot of times I had a lot of gray area that I was just putting distractions in. I was avoiding what I needed to accomplish. And the thing is that I felt like just learning who you are and being an entrepreneur, it kind of forces you to be more critical of like your steps and stuff.
It sure does.
And when COVID happened, we were locked down. We didn't have no job. Everybody was kind of home. Some people was getting unemployment. Some people wasn't.
You had to deal with self.
Exactly.
That was hard,
like,
huh?
Wow, what?
Everybody had to deal with
the way
themselves.
myself was getting me, though, was kicking my ass while I was asleep. And I was like, hey, why am I sleeping so late? You know why? Because everything that you've been distracting has been screaming at you. It's been screaming at you in your ear, and you need to sit down while you're awake and meditate. And that's the biggest thing that I feel like I learned just from like implementing meditation into my life. I was able to identify a lot of distractions that I was putting in my way. And once I was able to identify them and remove them, I noticed that I was sleeping a lot more peaceful. My conversation interaction with people were a little bit more fluid, and it was like I was a lot happier.
And it can also help your health. Like with me, you're talking about dealing with 3 different time zones every month. It was a lot. So when Corona,
3 different types of people.
Yeah, and in time zones, I'm on planes back and forth from London back, you know. So when the pandemic happened, yeah, I literally had like a sleep coma. I think I was gone for like 2 days.
Wow. How long is that flight from here to London?
About 9 hours, 8.5, 9 hours, depending on what time.
Yeah.
But that's when I realized, I was like, no, you need to give yourself a break.
Yeah.
Because at some point, the body's going to shut down.
That's
You know,
true.
so that really motivated me I need to really train myself to meditate and just stop.
Yeah.
Don't overrun myself. So, yeah.
So I've never experienced a divorce, but I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about that because I know something like that, mentally, it kind of can be hard to overcome, but you seem like you had that and hit the ground rolling.
Everybody asks, what's your secret sauce?
Like, honey got divorced and was moving. She was
Like, what is your secret? All these women come to me, you're glowing.
like, what, you happy? And then you talk about it not as a level of a crush, but a level of understanding of something that you got to remove from.
I own it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like
it.
you identify that I was in there, but I'm removed from it.
Yeah.
And I learned from it. So talk a little bit about that. How was that like mentally challenging?
It was really mentally challenging for me. Because quick background, my ex-husband and I, we owned a salon and barbershop together.
Oh, wow.
And we were a community shop. So like when this divorce happened, it was like Dame and Jay-Z breaking up Rockefeller. Like nobody knew what to do.
Yeah. You got employees.
Yeah, clients, you know.
Yeah.
And I love you guys, but let's speak the truth. You know, they love us both.
Yeah,
it
that's
was
true.
like, oh my God, it's not happening.
And then it's like they identify y'all as still a couple
Yeah,
still too.
so not only did it affect me personally, it affected us business a little bit. And it had to, I mean, if it affected me, I know it affected him too. Because I
definitely.
started sensing some clients like side, and I was like, no, we can't do that, you know. But so yeah, so that was hard in itself because it was publicized.
That's true, yeah. Sure.
Okay, so you know, you're getting looked at as, okay, this is like the black love couple and business, you know, like,
This
oh
one
my
trying to
God.
model my relationship
Okay,
after,
yeah. So then when it happened, you know, it's like the whole community was just shocked, and so it was an embarrassing time.
Yeah.
It was a hurtful time, but I think what I told myself was, you're gonna hit rock bottom and let yourself hit rock bottom. You're gonna feel it.
Yep.
You're gonna go through every emotion, and I did that. I actually was in therapy, going through that. My children was in therapy, going through it with me as well. You know, and I just learned how to figure out ways to cope and really deal with it. But I think the main thing that helped was that I released when I needed to. I didn't hold it. I didn't hide it.
Wow.
I didn't
You
try
didn't
to
create distractions.
To create distractions, I just said, that's that. Yeah, I'm divorced. This is it.
I'm gonna own it.
Yeah, you know, and I just tried to just stay focused on that. And eventually things got better.
Yeah.
It did. I got opportunities. I just stayed busy.
Yes.
You know, and then to be honest with you, the more I was talking with clients and hearing their stories is healing for me too.
Yeah.
You know, so believe it or not, the same way people look up to me and, you know, in my stories, I look up to my clients as
Amen.
well, and hearing their
Amen.
stories, you know.
That was one of the reasons why I wanted to start this platform, is just to have people come on and tell me like their journey in life, because it lets me understand, like, you know, you might be going through what you're going through, but there are people who have went through way worse and they've overcame it.
Oh yeah, so I've learned that through,
So
and that's when
don't-
I was like, okay, this is not that bad.
It's not. Yeah. I don't need to knock you.
But I can do this. I'm like, well, he didn't do that to me.
Like what? I still got my parents. You know what I'm saying? Hey, nobody died close to me, but I ain't trying to knock. Look, I get
it. But it's true. Sometimes you have to understand there's always someone out there that has it worse than you. So you need to appreciate your situation sometimes.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is, like, when we go through life, it's all about how we can adapt to the things that happen to us that's out of our control. And as long as it never affects our character, and it's just how we approach it, we being humble and we're just being patient and avoiding. That's my biggest thing, just being patient. Don't try to go head first into anything.
Yeah.
Just take your
Patience
time.
is a virtue. A good dear friend of mine told me patience is a virtue, and it's true.
Yep. So let's go. I'm gonna segue because I kind of want to talk about your reality show.
Okay.
The Twisted Talk. You did send me a little clip. I like that.
We haven't released it
yes,
yet.
I know. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to break it up. I didn't want to talk about it yet. But
We can talk about it,
For a
though.
little people who don't know about it, like, tell us a little bit about Twist and Talk, and tell us a little bit, like, I guess the outline of the show and what it's about.
Okay. So, you know, like I said, through my divorce and through traveling, and just me just connecting and talking with so many clients, I've realized the therapy that's come through this. And I'm like, man, this is what I do. I twist and talk. You know, like, come on, you know. But so I had a client who called me, who was actually my therapist.
Okay.
And she was like, Steph, you know, you brought me like 80-something thousand. I was like, what? I'm paying you that? She was like, no.
Excuse me?
I see a lot of your clients. I was like, excuse me? She was
Oh,
like,
wow.
yeah, I can't say who, of course, you know. She was like, but every session, Steph said, and Steph said, and Steph said. And she's like, everything you said is right. She's like, she's like, so have you done psychology? And that's when I opened up to her. Like I told you, I started and switched. And she was like, a majority of them are young black male.
Wow.
She hasn't seen that many black male either. You know what I mean? So as much. And she's like, well, obviously there's a connection. Think about it.
Yes.
So I went to sleep. I was like, $83,000. I'm giving this. I'm like, $83,000.
Where's my cut?
That'll be nice. And that's, so I went to
cut?
sleep with that thought. Where's my cut? Woke up, twist and talk. And I was like, I don't need a cut. I need to have my own center.
Amen. Yep.
So I decided to go back to school to get the psych degree. But at the same time, I'm still twisting and talking. Clients still want to know. So initially, I was like, all right, let me try my YouTube, do a YouTube channel. But then again, I ran it over to a couple of producers, and they were like, this is something so organic and real that they were like, we need to just do it, TV show. So I decided to do a reality show. I didn't want to do it in my home because we just came out of divorce. I'm just being honest. And I don't want it to be too personal on that end, but I'm okay to open up my business world with the world,
true.
you know what I mean? And that's what I wanted to focus on. So it's a reality show that follows me, Twist, Talk, and Travel. It's going to follow me to my different institutions where I will go and work.
Okay.
I am reaching out now to other institutions that I don't work at because I realize this is a big topic, know, like I want to go ahead and just travel and just get all different conversations. So we did two pilot episodes, one on mental health and one on Black love. So we're currently working on season 1. The goal is for the reality series is to watch my journey of me building Twist and Talk.
Wow.
All while having real life conversations, and
Yes.
then they can follow me through my journey of school and graduation and opening the center. So hopefully I have like 4 or 5 seasons.
She's on the way. She's on the way. Make sure you pay attention to her natural essence. Like, pay attention.
Thank you. But I think it's going to be amazing. I think it's something fresh, something organic, something cool, but something raw and needed in our community. So
it is needed. And the fact that what you were saying about like mental health in the Black community, that's something that a topic that we kind of don't really want to talk about or gloss over. But
unless you're in the barbershop or the salons. I'm like, you will spread your whole life to me.
But you ain't gonna pay for a therapist.
But you won't pay for the therapist.
And you wonder why you're not avoiding or overcoming what you're struggling with right now.
But then I would also say too, I do also see, and I can agree, there is not enough of us in this industry, in the psychology industry.
Okay, not enough black people.
Not enough black and brown people. And I think that scares a lot of my black and brown people.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they can be more, find people who are related to them, it'll be a lot easier.
Like a little more personable
too. Dr. April Jackson, who's my therapist, she acts for Metamorphosis. She actually has a nonprofit organization now that's supposed to be teaching psychologists around the world in the country cultural effects and how to deal with the different cultures. I think a lot of them lack that, which is why everyone's afraid to come, right? So
that's true.
So the goal is for Twist and Talk to eventually be a center where you can get your hair done, nails done, everything done. You know what I mean?
Get your hair done, your spirit done.
Get your spirit done. Everything. So the Twist and Talk. Reality show would take you guys on this journey with me.
Please stay tuned. She showed me, like, when I tell you, like, the thing is, like what you just said about the nail salon and the barbershop, like, that level of camaraderie and how people are more comfortable to drop their guard down whenever you got their hair in your hand or the clippers next to their line. Yeah. And it's like...
You guys come to us raw.
And leave a new person,
though. Leave a brand new person.
Sometimes you got to come by and twist and get my head and talk to you for a little bit, But that's a beautiful thing, man. That is so beautiful. And like the fact of you already establishing that niche of being a traveling hairstylist and God just bringing this Twist and Talk idea to you is just another testament to the ambition that's growing. And a part of that, like, was there any time in your life that I'm pretty sure when you were meditating where you just, maybe when you're doing your gratitude log too, like you wrote down like your keys to success or like how you want to see, how you measure your success or something in that sense. Is there something that you had like that growing up?
Well, I always do. I'm such a vision board freak.
Okay.
Like, I love to do vision boards. But I wouldn't say I measure my success to it, but I do use it as a guide. Okay. As a reminder, as to give me my push, to keep pushing. I'm a visuals person, hence I'm a hairstylist. Everything's visual for me. So I kind of have to see things in my face. So having that vision board, which I would do quarterly, it's good just to look at and like, okay, you're focusing on that, Okay. And then obviously I do have my calendar because I suck on being organized and on time. I do have a calendar, and I think that makes me feel so accomplished when I do my checks
Yep,
for my
yep.
dailies.
That's beautiful. That's awesome.
So that helps me.
Awesome. So what's next for you? What do you have coming up next? And we're gonna have you tell people how they can find you and like everything. So this is kind of a moment where you just promote yourself for a moment.
Well, I'm getting goosebumps as you ask me this question, because what's next for me is life.
Ooh, okay.
Life is next for me, and I'm excited about it. I think I'm at a place where I finally found my purpose, twist and talk. So I'm just gonna continue building with that. Like I said, we are currently recording our first season, so just look out. It hasn't been released yet, but look out for it. Right now, you can definitely follow me at IG at _naturalessence_ or Twist and Talk TV. You can definitely reach out to me at snaturalessence@gmail.com or shoot me a text, 813-458-5041. Peace.
Thank you so much for coming today.
No, thank you so much for having me.
I want to say one more thing too. Like, if you haven't met this individual, follow her right now.
Please.
Follow her YouTube channel as well too, and just understand like this is the people that come on Motivational Monday. These are the stories that we enjoy hearing. And thank you, Miss Johnston.
Thank you.
Give me a hug.
Of course.
Cool. This was good.
Yes.
Good.